And welcome everyone to the PCS Like a Pro show. I'm your host, Megan Harless, as always, and I am really excited about the show we're going to have for you today. Before we get into all of that, I just want to remind everybody we're starting to see those emails trickle out in regards to TSPs being assigned for everybody that's moving May 15th or after. So if you are waiting, if you've got your shipment set up and you're waiting for that email, just know they are slowly starting to trickle out. If you are planning to do a PPM this summer and move yourself, we've seen some issues where some of those rates aren't in the system yet and people are getting an error code when they're trying to set it up, or they're being told to check back later. Understand there are a lot of rates that have to be uploaded into the system. There are about 80,000 channels. The TSPs file rates for all of those channels. So do a little multiplication math, and there's a ton of rates that have to be approved and uploaded into the system. And so it could just be those rates aren't quite there yet. But keep checking back and trying for all of that. But just know those emails are coming. And so this peak season is going to shape up to be something fun and great. And until you get your TSP assigned, start working through your PCS prep, your purge, your PCS binder, your inventory, all of that good stuff. So that way you'll be nice and ready for when it's showtime for you. We're going to dive right into today because, like I said, I'm really excited. I've got one of my good friends, Lauren, joining us today, and we're going to be talking about some of her PCS experience. But Lauren has some amazing experience as well as PCSing and transitioning with a home-based business. And the big issue that we all have is that military spouse employment issue. And so Lauren's got some experience with that she's going to share with us as well. So Lauren, welcome to the show today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Can you just take us a moment and tell us about yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Lauren Hope. I am a military spouse and serial entrepreneur. I've been married to this life for about 17 years now. Gosh, we've moved 11, coming up on 12 times now. Surprise, that's a new one for us. And I've moved businesses across 6 or 7 states at this point. So racking them up. I happen to be the executive director of the Second Service Foundation, so I like to help military entrepreneurs with coaching, capital, and resources. I've already had a jewelry business move with me and started Shop Military too, so it's been a journey.
Yes. So as we start, you talked about your PCSs in there. So let's start from the beginning of your PCS journey. Is your family, are you guys team Diddy, move yourselves? Are you team, let's let the military handle that? And why is your family on that side of the line?
So we straddle the line. We're the odd breed that does half and half because I like to get paid for moving my businesses, and all of my jewelry weighs a lot. Also, I've been the kind of crazy one that will literally run my business from the back of my minivan as we road trip across the country. I will show you that here in a few months. So we do half and half, right?
Yes, I remember you running your jewelry business from the back of it. I think I ordered something from you, and you were literally you drove it a state, and then you put it in the mail as you stopped for a night. We do what we have to do to be able to make things happen and to work and to do all of that. So you can give us a brief synopsis of what your military PCS journey has been like over the last 17 years.
Okay, let's see here. Is that better?
That is much better, yes.
All right. So our PCS journey over the last 17 years. Whew, there's been a lot, right? So gosh, I'd have to actually sit and count on my fingers how many we've made and where we've been. But every PCS has been every 1 to 3 years. Most of them haven't been surprises. We knew they were coming because we followed the military life cycle, if you will. But this last one in particular is a surprise. So we've lived everywhere from Georgia, Kentucky, Texas, Ohio, New York, Colorado, Kansas, and now we're going to Georgia. So different part of Georgia. We've never duplicated in our journey. So going to yet another duty station. Let's see here. As far as what it's been like for me through that, all of these PCSs, it's forced me to pivot a lot as a spouse. It's been a roller coaster. I started as a professional chef before I married the military, and I did a lot of catering in the beginning. But the more duty stations we moved, the more I found that my fine dining experience wasn't really relevant because we weren't near fine dining restaurants when we were out by the tank ranges. So um, at that point, I pivoted and I started to use my culinary skill, my ability to craft with my hands, and started a jewelry company instead. The jewelry business moves anywhere with me, and frankly, it's a lot of fun to do it during the moves. I think it's what actually keeps me sane, even though I know how insane it sounds. Um, let's see. We thought we were really close to retiring recently. We went through the medical board process. So on a moving note, it was really kind of scary for us because we thought we were actually going to stay in one place for a really long time. We bought I'm in the retirement house right now, but lo and behold, we're not done moving yet. So in our medical board, my husband recently found that he is fit to remain on active duty, which is awesome. We've been fighting a long time for that. But with that comes a really surprise move for us. So we're packing up the retirement house and doing it again here shortly. So knowing that I thought we were going to retire here, I started a career in real estate, really anchored myself in. I love it. We're in Colorado Springs. I love this city. I know more about it than any other place I've ever lived. But I'll have to put that on hold for a little bit. So I'm grateful for my most recent pivot, which is running the Second Service Foundation. I'm sure you can tell I'm pretty passionate about being an entrepreneur, and I love my military spouses because I'm telling you, we run the world. The world may not know it, but we do. So I started with Second Service Foundation, and it was the answer that I didn't even know I was looking for in the way that it fills my bucket. And I'm a digital nomad here, so we do pop-up events all around the country. So it's going to move with me. So I guess what I'm saying is stay tuned. We'll keep you updated on the road.
Yes, no, absolutely. And all that. I mean, you talk about having to pivot your job and career and what you did. And I think that's a common thread. I think a lot of us can relate to where we've had to do that as well. We've found a job, we've loved it. And then our husband comes down, our spouse comes down on PCS orders and moves us to like the middle of nowhere. And it's like, why? Like, why does it have to be the middle of nowhere? And then it's like, well, can we remote work? And we've seen companies very slow to allow people to remote work and telework. COVID and the shutdown helped with that some because we were able to show the world has to do it now. Like we can do it too. Like I can, whether I'm in Virginia or Georgia, I can still do the same work. My house is just in a different location. So in all your process of pivoting and changing jobs, what were some of the roadblocks and speed bumps that you ran into along the way?
Ooh, okay. Well, obviously there's a lot of paperwork. I know we have to do that anyway for TRICARE and all the DEERs and all the things every time you move, but there's even more paperwork for your business, right? I feel like I'm moving a whole nother family every time I move my business. I wouldn't have said roadblock, but I know you love organization as far as like your moves and getting it all in order. Write it down. Like, I know that sounds silly, but almost keep a diary every time you move your business. I have a whole bullet point checklist of everything I have to think about, from updating my postal box and making sure that I move my close down in one state on the taxes and open in a new state in the taxes, and make sure that I'm covered. Even with like my business name, you have to register your business name in the next state. And there's a lot of steps to it. I know that there are resources out there, like the Small Business Administration has resources, but I don't feel like it's written for a military spouse. So Megan, I'm going to make the suggestion that we're going to build this list together because it needs to be done. But by writing it down, when you get surprised with orders and you have to move in 6 weeks to 3 months, you don't panic. You just breathe and you pull out the bullet point list from last time and you just start going down it. And gosh, it's made me really resilient.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, paperwork, like you said, we do it all the time for everything. And having that checklist, will go a long way into helping ensure that you know what you need to do to close down in one spot and start in another. We know a lot of spouses, many of us, we have a home-based business of some kind or sort as a way to earn extra income for our families. And we know that you have yours as well. Can you walk us through what it was like moving the home-based business, is there anything like specifically that others should know or think about when they are in that process, or they come down on the
Mm.
orders and it's like, should I move this? Should I let it go? Any advice that you can give into that?
Yeah. You never have to make a definite decision in that moment,
Mhm.
right? Like everything feels very pressing. I can tell you, I was super stressed yesterday. I'm going to go house hunting next week. Surprise. But I know that none of the decisions are life and death that I'm making when it comes to my business. I can put my business on hold. Um, Originally, before I ever moved a business, I was fearful that my following would never find me again. I'd lose my social media algorithm, all the goodness. It's true, you do lose some of your status, right? But if you curate a way to keep in touch with your clients and your following, your base, they'll still be there for you. They get it. Actually, it's kind of an adventure to follow along, right? Um, Make the best decision with the information that you have right now and go from there. You don't have to close your business, just put it on hold, right? And when you find peace at the next duty station and you're ready to do something big and crazy and adventurous again, go from there, right? I'll be very transparent. I've thought about that Hope Design being my jewelry business. I've thought about it with this move because I've probably got like 17 different, irons in the fire right now. And that's the one that I don't want to do it poorly. So I'm probably going to put the shop on a vacation. That's okay. I'll make a big announcement when it reopens.
Yeah. And everything doesn't have to be, we always think sometimes that this is like a definite answer. This is a
Yeah.
definite decision type of thing. And it doesn't have to be. I mean, with our lifestyle, it's like we can make anything work for a year, 9 months, 2 to 3 years type of deal. So when you talk about, you can put it on hold. It doesn't have to be on hold forever. It can be on hold for that season that you go through or that duty station. And then,
Mhm.
whatever else, because we've seen many times where we've PCS that what I was involved in and doing at one duty station wasn't necessarily what I was going to be involved in doing at the next duty station, just because of
Mhm.
where my spouse was in his career, what his position was, what was available at that installation. So yeah, it doesn't
Absolutely.
have to be that definite, like if I put it on hold, like, am I ever going to come back to it? You may, and it
Mhm.
will work and be just fine. And you may realize like things happen without it and you're totally good with that too.
Well, and things evolve too.
Yes.
I think one of the things I didn't realize at the time, but like looking back on my journey, sorry, I'm a hand talker. I'll get you up here. Uh, I didn't realize perhaps the skills that I was building out, right, when I was running this business. And that, and I picked up different skills along the way because every time I moved, I evolved. And to see where I am now running this nonprofit foundation, and I knew I was pretty good at doing some of these things, right? But to then have the validation of Mark Rockefeller look at me and saying, I'm sorry, he's our founder of Second Service Foundation, by the way, to have him look at me and say, no, you really know what you're doing. Do it. You're doing it well. It's very empowering, right? And here I have cobbled together all these hobnob jobs of just skills. It's amazing. I'm telling you, military spouse is like a Swiss Army knife. You have no idea what tools are hiding in there until you're called to use them again, but you're building those skills along the way.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's a conversation I've had with other people, many other people too. Just our lifestyle in general has equipped us with so many skills that, corporate America doesn't realize that we possess and that we have, just because of what we've been forced to do over the course of our spouse's military career, planning a move with a 2-week notice, having
Yeah.
a baby by ourselves, planning a promotion ceremony and a homecoming and a birthday and a wedding, like all within a 72-hour period. Our critical thinking skills and our organizational skills of how are we going to handle things and be able to get us from A to B, and everything else that, our life has just given us these skills that, corporate America is just slowly starting to see and understand. And because we've lived in so many different locations, I think we provide that unique perspective too of like, hey, everybody doesn't want things the way that you think they need to be done. Like, let me tell you about this time that I lived in Podunk, Texas, and how that
Mhm.
was like, completely different than Richmond, Virginia, and how, you're trying to market to everybody, but you don't know what everybody is like in all those different unique locations.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So with all that, are there resources for those of us that are looking to move a business, have a business, don't know what we need to do, want a little more extra support? Are there resources out there that we can go to and help us navigate everything?
Absolutely. So let's see. For starters, I feel like the legality of moving your business is probably what weighs on most business owners the heaviest. I happen to be doing a talk a little later today with Rita Hicks and MSJDN, which is a collective of military spouse lawyers. They know their stuff, and I'm really along for comic relief because I've moved businesses so many times. I have all of the questions today. So if you'd like to join me, we'll put the link out there. So MSJDN
right now.
Resource. All right. And let me see. Let me grab you one other resource. It's been very relevant to me. So I actually hire military spouses and have had one, Megan. She's amazing. Her name is also Megan. Megans are great. She has worked with me for years, but she just came down on orders to go to Germany. And so as an employer, trying to move one of my employees to Germany is a little bit tricky. Are you familiar with IVMF?
I am. Yes.
Well, for those that are not, because Megan knows all the things, and we already knew that. IVMF is the Institute for Veterans and Military Families. It is part of Syracuse University, and it is funded in part by the Small Business Administration, right? Second Service Foundation happens to be funded through a similar program, so they're my besties. They have so much incredible information about small businesses, and then particularly military businesses. So one of the resources that they have is an employment roadmap through Oconus Moves. So I have that link for you guys as well. Phenomenal PDF document full of all of the ins and outs of different SOFA regulations for different countries. So.
No, that is very helpful because we get those questions a lot of times in the groups too of like, hey, I'm moving to Germany or Poland or England or whatever it may be, another Oconus location. And it's, can I take my job with us? Yeah. Can I remote work? What's the SOFA agreement for everything else? And so being able to have those resources that can help us navigate what can I do and legally do, because moving and trying to work remotely are not a good reason for jail. If you guys are in the
70% taxes either. Let's throw that out there. Yes. That's one of the biggest things we're running into is American taxes and the receiving company's taxes.
Yes. Do that. Yes, no, absolutely. If you guys are in our PCS group, we've got a long list going of like reasons that are like, not good reasons for jail. If we're going to go to jail, it's going to be a very fantastic story and like a front cover type of coverage. Okay.
They'll make a movie about us, Megan.
Moving and taxes is not a good reason for jail. And so being able to have these resources, especially ones that are geared towards our community and that understand our lifestyle and understand all those little ins and outs of everything like SOFA and everything, it helps us be able to do what we need to do and want to do and in a legal way and help make it easier, because we've all been in that situation of like, here's a question, let me Google it. And now you're an hour and a half down the Google rabbit hole and you're more confused than where you were when you started.
Absolutely.
So so these resources are absolutely amazing. We've got the links in the comments for both the IVMF and also for the talk that Lauren is a part of later with MSJDN and Rita Hicks there. So be sure to click those links, check them out, join the conversation, and be a part of that as well. As we look at wrapping up today, do you have a piece of advice or a lesson learned that you would like to pass on to our military spouse community? And it can be PCS related, it can be life in general, it can be whatever it is that you want to share.
I have one standby favorite, and it's honestly saved me so many times. It's pick your donuts. Have I told you this one, Megan?
You have not. I want to know now.
Gosh, pick your donuts. You're gonna laugh at me, like, y'all. I'm pulling into my desk here. I'm gonna literally show you my donuts. These are my donuts. I want to do all of the things. I want to volunteer. I want to spend time with my kids. I want to run my business. I want to be a good friend. I want to go on dates with my husband. But I don't have time for all dozen donuts. I don't. So I found in military spouse life, I get volunteered into a lot of things, or I say yes to things because they need somebody, but not because it aligned with what I wanted to do. So the advice is pick your donuts. Don't try to do all dozen because you'll be sick to your stomach and not satisfied with what you're doing. But if you pick your 2, 3, 4, you'll enjoy the donuts. You'll be really good and succeed at what you're doing, right? There's plenty of donuts for everybody. So make friends with people who want to do the other donuts and let them do the other donuts. It's okay. So donuts.
No, I've never heard that before, and I love it. Like that. I think what we hear a lot is like the balls that you drop, the glass balls and the rubber balls and things like that. But I love donuts, and I love hearing it much more in terms of donuts, of picking your favorite donuts and going with that. But how many times can we all relate to that? That we feel like we need to do all the things and be a part of all the things, and then like at the end of the month, we're wanting to pull our hair out and we're tired and we're exhausted, and it's, why did I say yes to this? Why did I, agree to do this? We've had Monica Bassett on our show before. Happily, me and her are co-located together at the same installation right now. Me and her have had this year the many conversations along the lines of having white space on your calendar, having that blank space where it's not filled up completely, and having those boundaries and making sure you have time for you. And so I made her start scheduling at least one day a month where she does nothing, where it's a Monica day. And so she can go get her hair done. She can go get her nails done. She can sit on her couch and eat chips and not have to make a decision if she wanted to, kind of thing. And so I love the donuts and all of that coming together of, pick your donuts and go do those and enjoy those, and don't try to eat all of them.
I've even found myself time blocking, like to include an hour for emails, and then I don't check it for the rest of the day, right? So, but it's that saving space for the things that you have to do or need to do. But if you overschedule, you won't do them. So,
yes. No, absolutely. That is such great advice. And the perfect thing to end on today is, y'all go pick your donuts and don't do a whole dozen because you'll be sick.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Thank you, Laura, for taking the time out of your day and joining us and sharing all the good knowledge and information today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And you are always, I will make this public for everybody. You are always more than welcome back anytime. And so as you continue down with Second Service Foundation and all of the things and your PCS move, you're always more than welcome to come back. Just call me and say, hey, I want to talk about this, and we'll pick a date and you'll be able to tell us all the things for everything.
Beautiful. Look forward to it.
Yes, and thank you for joining us. For everybody else watching, thank you for taking time out of your day as well to join us. Join us again next week, same time, same place. We're going to have one of my friends, Janelle, on, who recently did a PCS ride. Was it last week? The week before? Arrived at her duty location. So it's fresh. I think she's probably still got packing boxes and packing material in her house. So it'll be perfect, everyone, as we gear up for peak season. So make sure to join us then. If you are planning a PCS or you're in the middle of it, you got questions, issues, concerns, anything, please do not hesitate to reach out. We're always more than happy to help and direct you into the proper regulation, guidance, policy office person that it is that you need to talk with to get some resolution to whatever it is that you are going through. And until next time, remember, take care of each other.